Hi, it's Magnus here again at Ignite doing interviews with very interesting people. I have one of those right next to me. It's Mr. Ryan Jones. How do you do, sir? What's up?
Oh, not much. Just excited to be here at Ignite.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us who you are kind of at Microsoft and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Ryan. I'm a program manager, and so I run our resource manager team.
And resource management, honestly, everybody kind of, quote, should know what this is. And whether or not they do, they always use it. So describe briefly what resource management is about.
Yeah, so Azure Resource Manager is really the front door API for managing resources in Azure. I know we're very creatively named. And so the thing is, when you send a request to us, we authorize that request, we send it to the right service so that the right resources get provisioned, we audit that request, and we make sure that it meets the appropriate policies. We also have these little things, templates that you might have heard of, that allow people to represent their configuration as code. And so ARM takes those documents and we orchestrate across all of the different resource providers in Azure.
Great. So that's extremely central to Azure. It's actually, you can't do anything at all in Azure without touching the stuff that you have under your wings, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's I guess it's good for my paycheck.
Definitely. So obviously you're here at Ignite for a purpose. You have a couple of sessions. Tell me about this.
Yeah, well, so I'm going to be spending a bunch of time in the expo hall on the booth. The other thing is Friday morning I have a session where we'll talk about what's new with Azure Resource Manager. And so got a lot of really interesting stuff there that we're going to talk about.
Anything that you can disclose at this time? What's new in Azure Resource Management?
Oh, gosh, lots of fun stuff. So, in fact, Corey talked about some of these things in his session Monday, so I can talk freely about them. The first is we're really excited about Azure Managed Applications through the Service Catalog entering general availability. So, with Managed Apps, what this allows Central IT to do is to build an application catalog that they can share with other parts of their organization. It allows Central IT to deliver managed services to different line of business units. So, we're super excited about that. The other
cool. So hang on. Let me just follow up there. Does that mean you kind of have like you specify a managed application as a template of something, and then it's kind of locked down, so it's specified to be exactly one thing?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So what happens is someone authors a template, they add an additional file, a create UI definition that creates a railed experience for provisioning that item, and then they share it with the people that are in their organization. And as they define that template, they're able to describe whether or not people can touch the resources inside of it or whether that application is sealed. And so what this allows you to do is much more effectively deliver a managed application, hence the name, to your different lines of business while maintaining high SLAs and ensuring that it's able to work as designed.
That sounds perfect for enterprises, of course, and those I bet are the target. And then you had one more session.
So we're also going to be talking quite a bit about resource policy. So we've extended resource policy capabilities to include things like exclusions, so that when you have policy rules, if there are certain types of resources or certain applications where those policies may not apply or where you may want to grant an exception, you can exclude those from your policy assignments. We're also introducing initiatives or policy sets that allow you to group all of your policies together into kind of these big Uber policies that you may assign a very broad scope. The other thing that we're introducing are management groups, which is a new organizational construct that exists between your AAD tenant and your Azure subscription so that you can assign policies across many subscriptions at once. And then the final thing is simply the grammar of the policies is much more expressive now so that you can control many things around networking configurations as one example.
Wow, that's great, because honestly, I have been in this area for a while. Like, I've been following your work, sir, and these enhancements, specifically when you go across subscriptions and these kinds of things, that's exactly the kind of stuff that I have been looking for myself and waiting for and hoping that you'd get to, and now you have. So if I wanted to get into not maybe resource templating and that sort of stuff, but the policy stuff, where do I go to get started with that?
So we have lots of documentation on azure.com that explains how to get started with policy. We also have the new Policy Center, which is lighting up in the Ibiza portal. And in addition to that, we also have an Azure Policy GitHub repository where we have lots of example policy templates that you can use to get started.
Perfect. I was thinking about that Policy Central. That sounds really cool. Thank you so much for being with me today, and enjoy the rest of the conference and your sessions and everything, sir.
You too. Thanks so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you today.
Cool. So we're signing off there from talking with Ryan Jones about Azure Resource Management. Thank you very much.